What fan theory do you 100% accept as true? By Ask Reddit.
The reason each It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode starts with a date and time is because they're all testifying against each other in court.
Oh poo, it's definitely against Dennis.
The Empire Strikes Back. Admiral Ozzel is a rebel spy. Everything Ozzel does in his brief bits of screen time is to the detriment of the Empire. When the probe droid finds the rebel shield generator, Ozzel tries to dismiss it as smugglers before Pete speaks out of turn and gets Vader involved. Later, Ozzel orders the fleet out of hyperspace too quickly, giving the rebels plenty of time to activate the aforementioned shield generator that Ozzel knew about. Clumsy as he is stupid, or rebel sympathizer who gave his life to give the Alliance as much time to evacuate their base as possible. I side on the latter.
Thank you. I thought I was the only one who picked up on this. He has no legitimate reason for deflecting suspicion away from Hoth unless he is a spy. It is utterly irrelevant to his position if a junior officer raises a bad idea to the boss against his own judgment, to say nothing of it being hazardous to question said boss when he's off on one of his headstrong impulses. Ozzel is a hero of the rebellion. Miguel and Tulio may not be gods, but the armadillo that follows them around absolutely is. It's just helping them out because they saved it from being eaten.
Bebo. I agree. When the volcano is going off he is chasing a butterfly, and then when Tulio yells, "Stop!" Bebo stops chasing the butterfly as well. It even keeps cutting to Bebo during their conversation. Another one is his ability to walk on walls and change direction mid-air during the game. And him accidentally helping come up with a plan for the boat at the end. Amongst other things.
That Loki was controlled by the Tesseract more than he let on. His eyes glowed multiple times and he shed a tear when Thor tried to talk sense into him.
Fits with mythology Loki a bit better where he's a troublemaker, and a bit twisted, but isn't evil. If anything, he suffers from affluenza where he doesn't understand that other people face real consequences whereas he doesn't because he's a god. It also allows them to hand-wave his turn too good.
Wait, there's a theory the Tesseract controlled Loki like the Mind Stone could?
That is the general theory of the Avengers. Loki is not evil. He is not a villain. He is the god of mischief. He just likes effing things up. He is not the type of person to invade a planet and maliciously murder everyone. Thanos was under control of him.
It was the staff, the Mind Stone.
In Disney's Ratatouille, the old lady in the beginning of the movie living in the house next to the river is the food critic, Anton Ego's mother. In the flashback scene where he eats the ratatouille you can see similarities of the house from the beginning, her face and I think the bridge.
That explains Remy being able to make the ratatouille that tasted exactly like his mother used to make.
Oh poo ttt.
Imagine Anton Ego taking his mother to his new favorite restaurant and introducing her to the chef.
Ego. Mother, come here, we must pay compliments to the chef. Ego's mother, cocks shotgun.
The Jetsons and the Flintstones are living at the same time in a dystopian future where the haves live above the clouds and the have-nots are stuck on a wasted Earth. The signs include that Flintstones celebrate things like Christmas and other holidays, which doesn't make sense, and the Great Gazoo alien appears in both series.
Gazoo is in the Jetsons. The town from Footloose is the same town from Tremors. The ban on dancing wasn't a puritanical attempt to control the youth. The town elders were aware of the graboid threat, and banned dancing out of the fear that it would cause rhythmic vibrations waking up the creatures sleeping below the town. Kevin Bacon's character in Footloose stayed in the town, growing up to be his character in Tremors, at which point he has to try and contain the danger he inadvertently released.
There was so many problems with this, but, man, that's hilarious. As a massive Tremors fan, this made me laugh. Thanks for sharing.
James Bond's primary purpose is to be a distraction to keep attention off the spies who actually spy. Villains and other spies know him. He rarely takes an alias. He makes his presence known early on and keeps messing up operations for the villains, but other spies have already infiltrated their ranks and work while Bond does as much visible damage as possible to keep the others safe.
I like this one. When you think about it, he's a pretty bad spy.
The name's Bond. James Bond. I'm a spy. For me 6. The secret British intelligence service. And I'm here to spy on you. Shall we play cards?
I read it on a fan theory post once, and it replaced my headcanon. It's simple and logical.
Little late to the game, but the theory is that the kyber crystal in Luke's green lightsaber is the same one from Qui-Gon Jinn's. After Kenobi defeats Darth Maul with his master's lightsaber, he would have kept it as a keepsake, despite rebuilding his own saber. It's likely he would have retrieved it and kept it with him after the Order 66 attack. After the Empire takes over, they destroy all artifacts and memory of the Jedi in their purge of changing the history, and most kyber crystals go towards powering the Death Star. Because of this, any lightsaber crystal would have been very difficult for Luke to find after he loses the Skywalker saber. But we know he returns to Tatooine to complete his new lightsaber, likely returning to Ben Kenobi's home for components, where he would have found Qui-Gon Jinn's lightsaber and recycled its crystal.
I vaguely remember reading, it might have been Shadows of the Empire. Come to think of it, that Luke did go back to Ben's hut to study and get supplies. This makes a lot of sense.
Red Alert 1's Allied victory results in the Red Alert 2/3 universe. Red Alert 1's Soviet victory leads to the Tiberium universe. Debunked by the writers themselves, IIRC, but that's how it'll always be for me.
Isn't Kane one of Stalin's advisors in the Soviet campaign? The Soviet ending explicitly mentions the Brotherhood, and that they would tire of the USSR in the early 1990s, which is when the Tiberium series starts. There's a video on YouTube that goes into all the possible timelines based on the victor in each game, and I think it was mentioned that Ra was originally meant to be a prequel to Tiberium. RA2 starts based on an Allied victory in RA1, as the Soviets are not in power and there's no GDI. I'm not sure if the devs ever denied it, but it's certainly how the timelines play out.
The monsters in Courage the Cowardly Dog are regular people but seem monstrous from Courage's perspective, since he's cowardly. Also, they live in the middle of nowhere because his owners never take him out, so that's how he views the world.
Don't you dare tell me effing Ramses is a regular person.
Yeah, he is. And he just wants you to return the slab.
Glinda dropped Dorothy's house on the Wicked Witch of the East, not the tornado, and uses her to gain control of Oz. One of the first things Glinda tells Dorothy is that she killed the witch. They praise her so she'll accept it, and when the Witch of the West comes along, who killed her sister? Dorothy. Glinda then puts the ruby slippers on Dorothy's feet but does not tell her that she can use them to go home. Instead, she sends Dorothy to Oz in possession of objects that a witch would murder her for. Dorothy, being forced into a situation where her only salvation is Oz and her worst enemy is the Queen, inadvertently exposes the Wizard of Oz as a fraud and murders the Witch of the West. Now, who's left to rule Oz? Glinda F. in Witch of the North. She used Dorothy as an expendable pawn to gain control of Oz without having to leave her bubble. And when Dorothy is done upheaving the two biggest powers in Oz, Glinda sends her home and makes her think it was all a dream.
She came down in a bubble, Doug.
They were sisters.
You're going to look at me and tell me I'm wrong?
Hell, the Wicked Witch isn't even that evil, she just wants her sister's shoes to remember her by.
No one mourns the wicked.
I loved this book as a kid, and when I was around 24, my sister took me to see the play. I had the soundtrack, so I thought, oh man, I bet I'll cry during Defying Gravity. No One Mourns the Wicked is the first song, and as soon as they sang that line, there were just tears streaming down my face. I love that play.
Thank you for watching. We upload new videos every day, so be sure to come back for more fun. Please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed the video.